Hey Taurus, I need to share something really important with you today. If you've been feeling like something just hasn't been right in your life lately, like there's been this strange energy around a relationship or situation that feels off, I want you to know you're not imagining it. I pulled cards for you, and what came through is honestly so validating and also pretty intense. You know that feeling when you sense something is happening behind the scenes, but you can't quite put your finger on it? Well, the cards are revealing some really significant information about what's been going on in your energy field and around your connections. There's been interference, Taurus, like actual interference in your relationships and situations, and it's not just random bad luck or miscommunication. Something more deliberate has been at play here. But here's what I really want you to understand from the start. You're protected. You have help right now that you might not even be fully aware of. And those traps that were set for you, you're not falling into them. The universe has your back in a major way. And there are forces working to shield you from manipulation and deception that's been directed your way. I'm going to walk you through what the cards revealed, because this reading was honestly one of those sessions where card after card just confirmed and built upon this narrative. There's a story here about separation, about someone who caused disruption through some pretty dark means, and about truth that's about to come to light. You're going to receive news soon, Taurus. News that's going to make so many things make sense. So let me start with what showed up first, because this really sets the foundation for everything else. The first card that came through was the Eight of Cups. And I have to tell you, this card appearing right at the beginning tells me so much about where you've been emotionally. The Eight of Cups is that moment of walking away, right? It's leaving behind something that no longer serves you, even when it's hard, even when part of you wants to stay and make it work. And for you, Taurus, this card is showing me that there was a departure, a walking away from a situation or a person, or maybe even multiple connections. But here's what's interesting about how this card showed up. It's not showing me that you wanted to leave. It's showing me that circumstances pushed you toward this separation. There's this sense of having been emotionally drained to the point where continuing just wasn't possible anymore. You gave so much, Taurus. You poured your heart into something or someone, and it got to a point where you looked at what you had invested versus what you were receiving back and realized you were running on empty. What I'm picking up on, though, is that this departure, this walking away, it wasn't a natural conclusion. It wasn't like a relationship that ran its course organically. There's this element of confusion around it. Like you couldn't fully understand why things deteriorated the way they did. You might have been asking yourself what you did wrong, or what you could have done differently, or how things went from good to suddenly so difficult. The energy of the Eight of Cups here is showing me someone who left with a heavy heart, not with anger or relief, but with sadness and confusion. You were searching for answers, Taurus. You were trying to understand what happened because it didn't fully make sense. The way this connection fell apart, or the way this situation deteriorated, there were pieces missing from the puzzle, and you knew it. And I want you to really sit with this for a moment, because what's about to be revealed in this reading is going to shine light on those missing pieces. The Eight of Cups isn't just about the leaving. It's about the emotional journey you've been on since then. It's about the nights you spent questioning yourself, the moments you wondered if you gave up too easily, the times you looked back and felt that pull to return, even though you knew deep down it wouldn't be healthy. This card is also showing me that your intuition was trying to tell you something all along. Even in the midst of the confusion, even when you couldn't articulate exactly what was wrong, you felt it. There was something in your gut saying, this isn't right, this isn't natural, this doesn't add up. And you were right, Taurus. Your intuition was picking up on interference that you couldn't see clearly yet. The Magician came through next. And this is where things start to get really revealing. The Magician is all about manifestation, about using will and skill to create reality, about having all the tools at your disposal and knowing how to use them. But in this context, in this reading, the Magician is showing up to reveal that someone has been using their skills, their charm, their abilities in manipulation. This is someone who knows exactly what they're doing. They're not stumbling through their actions or operating from pure emotion. No, this is calculated. This is someone who understands how to influence situations and people, who knows how to pull strings behind the scenes, who has been actively working to shape your reality according to their agenda. What's coming through really strongly with this card is that this person has been using communication as a weapon. They know what to say, when to say it, how to plant seeds of doubt. The magician reversed, or in this shadow aspect, is the manipulator, the con artist, the person who presents one face while operating with completely different intentions underneath. I'm seeing that this person had access to either you or someone close to you, or both. They positioned themselves in a way where they could influence the narrative, they could whisper things, suggest things, create doubts where there weren't any before. They're skilled at making their interference look like it's coming from natural sources, making their manipulation seem like it's just circumstances unfolding. And here's what's really significant about the magician showing up in this reading. This card is telling you that what happened wasn't your fault. The separation, the problems, the confusion, the pain you experienced, it wasn't because you weren't good enough or didn't do enough or failed in some way. It was because someone was actively working against the situation succeeding. They were using their abilities to create discord and distance. Think about the magician's tools. They have the wand for inspiration and passion, the cup for emotions, the sword for communication and thought, the pentacle for physical reality and resources. This person has been touching all these areas. They've been influencing how people think about you, what people feel toward you, what gets communicated or miscommunicated, even affecting practical circumstances and opportunities. The scary thing about this level of manipulation is how invisible it is while it's happening. You don't see the magician pulling the strings because they're good at what they do. They create effects that look like natural consequences. They make their interference seem like your own choices or random bad luck or other people's independent decisions. But the fact that this card has appeared in your reading means the illusion is breaking. The magician's tricks only work as long as the audience doesn't know how the trick is done. Once you see behind the curtain, once you understand the mechanism, the power of the illusion dissolves. And that's what's happening for you now. Taurus strength appeared. And I have to say, this card brought me so much relief for you because strength is your protection. Strength is your inner power that cannot be broken by external manipulation. This is the card of quiet courage, of maintaining your dignity and grace even when facing challenges, of taming the beast not through force but through calm confidence. The energy of strength in your reading is showing me that throughout everything that's happened, throughout all the interference and manipulation, your core has remained intact. Yes, you were hurt. Yes, you were confused. Yes, you walked away feeling wounded, but your essential self, your inner truth, your authentic power, that wasn't actually damaged. It might have been obscured temporarily, it might have been tested, but it wasn't broken. What's really beautiful about strength showing up here is that it's confirming you have divine protection. The lion in this card represents raw power, primal force, potentially dangerous energy. But the figure in strength isn't fighting the lion. She's not running from it. She's gently, calmly, confidently taming it. She's showing that true strength isn't about aggression or force. It's about inner certainty. This is telling me that even though someone was using magician energy to manipulate your situation, they couldn't actually touch your soul. They could create external chaos, they could influence circumstances, they could make things difficult, but they couldn't corrupt your essential nature. You remained who you are, Taurus. You kept your integrity even when it would have been easier to compromise it. And here's what's significant about this strength is also showing me that you have spiritual support. There are higher forces, guardian energies, protective presences that have been shielding you throughout this whole ordeal. When I said at the beginning that you have help, this is what I'm talking about. You're not navigating this alone. You're not undefended against the manipulation that's been happening. The traps that were set for you, strength is showing me you didn't fall into them because you were being guided around them. There might have been moments where you almost made a choice that would have been really detrimental, where you almost believed a lie that would have hurt you, where you almost went back to something toxic, but something stopped you, something gave you pause, something whispered, not this, not now, not that direction. That was strength working in your life. That was your higher self and your spiritual protection collaborating to keep you safe. You might have felt alone during the hardest moments, but you weren't. There was always this invisible hand guiding you away from the worst outcomes, helping you maintain your boundaries even when you felt weak, keeping your heart protected even when it was breaking. Strength is also about patience. And this is an important message for you right now. The truth is emerging, the news is coming, the interference is being exposed, but it's unfolding in divine timing. You don't need to force anything. You don't need to go digging for proof or confronting people or demanding answers right this moment. The energy of strength is telling you to stay in your power, stay in your center, and let the universe handle the revealing. Temperance came through, and this card honestly made me emotional for you because temperance is about divine intervention and perfect timing and alchemy. This is the angel card, Taurus. This is literal heavenly assistance showing up in your reading. Temperance is telling me that there has been and continues to be active divine involvement in your situation. You know how temperance shows an angel with 1 foot on land and 1 foot in water, pouring liquid between 2 cups? That's about balancing different realms, bridging the spiritual and physical, mixing elements to create something new and healed. This is what's happening for you. The divine realm is literally intervening in your physical circumstances to create healing and balance where there was chaos and harm. What's really significant about temperance is that this card represents the universe's correction mechanism. When things get too far out of balance, when there's too much interference in someone's path, when dark energy is being directed at someone who doesn't deserve it, the universe steps in. Temperance is that stepping in. This is cosmic justice beginning to flow. The timing element of temperance is so important here. This card appears when things are happening in exactly the right sequence for maximum healing and truth revelation. Every piece of information that's coming to light, every realization you're having, every bit of protection you're receiving, it's all being orchestrated in perfect timing, I'm seeing with temperance, that you're being prepared for what you're about to learn. If you had received this news earlier, if the truth had been revealed before you were ready, it might have broken you. But you've been going through a process of strengthening, of healing, of developing the resilience you need to handle what's being revealed. Temperance is telling me that by the time the full truth reaches you, you'll be in a place where you can receive it without being destroyed by it. This card is also about the mixing and merging of elements to create healing. The pain you've experienced is being transformed through divine alchemy into wisdom. The confusion is being transmuted into clarity. The betrayal is being converted into discernment. You're not going to emerge from this situation the same person you were before. But that's actually a blessing because who you're becoming is stronger, wiser, more protected, more aligned with your true path. Temperance is showing me that even the dark interference you experienced is being used by the universe for your ultimate good. Not that it was good or that it was deserved or that it was okay. But the universe is taking even that negative energy and recycling it into fuel for your growth and evolution. Nothing is wasted in the spiritual economy. The other thing temperance is telling me is that balance is being restored. For a while, things were really tilted in favor of the person who was manipulating your situation. They were getting away with their interference. Their lies were being believed. Their manipulation was working. But temperance is the great equalizer. This card is saying that the scales are shifting back toward truth and justice. Queen of Wands appeared, and let me tell you, this card brought such strong energy to your reading. The Queen of Wands is confident, magnetic, creative, passionate, independent. She knows her worth, and she doesn't dim her light for anyone. And in this reading, the Queen of Wands is showing up as either you stepping into your power or someone who is supporting you, or both. If this is you, and I strongly feel that it is, then the Queen of Wands is showing me your future self. This is who you're becoming through this whole experience. You're shedding the confusion and self-doubt, and you're stepping into a version of yourself that is absolutely unshakable. The Queen of Wands doesn't question her value. She doesn't need external validation. She doesn't let other people's manipulation affect her sense of self. What's coming through with this card is that you're reclaiming your personal power in a major way. All the energy you had invested in that situation that didn't serve you, all the emotional bandwidth you were giving to confusion and pain, all of that is coming back to you and being redirected toward building your own queendom. The Queen of Wands is creative, and I'm seeing that you're going to be channeling whatever you've been through into something productive. Maybe you're going to pursue a creative project or a business idea, or a new direction in your life that you've been putting off. The passion and drive that you were investing in trying to make that old situation work is now available for you to invest in yourself and your own dreams. This card is also telling me that you're becoming magnetic in a new way. The Queen of Wands draws people to her not through manipulation or games, but through her authentic radiance. When you're solidly in your power, when you're confident in who you are, when you're connected to your creative fire, you don't have to chase anything or anyone. The right people and opportunities come to you. I'm also seeing with the Queen of Wands that you're developing really strong boundaries. This queen is warm and generous, but she doesn't let people take advantage of her. She knows when to say no. She recognizes manipulation when she sees it. She doesn't give second chances to people who've shown her their true colors, and this is a skill you're developing now, Taurus. If the Queen of Wands is someone else in your reading, then this is a person who is supporting you through this situation. This could be a friend, a family member, a mentor, someone who has that fiery, confident energy and who is helping you see your own worth. They're the one reminding you that you deserve better, that you didn't deserve what happened, that you're stronger than you think. Either way, whether this is you or someone helping you, the Queen of Wands is a powerful ally to have in this reading. This is passionate, protective energy that doesn't back down from a fight if necessary. This is someone who sees through bullshit and isn't afraid to call it out. This is sovereign energy that cannot be manipulated or controlled. Three of Wands came through, and this card honestly got me excited for you because the Three of Wands is about expansion, vision, and waiting for your ships to come in. This is the card of someone standing on a cliff looking out at the horizon, watching their investments return, seeing their efforts pay off. In the context of your reading, the Three of Wands is telling me that everything you've been through is actually positioning you for something bigger and better. You know how sometimes you have to leave one thing behind before you can receive what's meant for you? That's what's happening here. The Eight of Cups departure was necessary to make room for what the Three of Wands is bringing in. This card is showing me that new opportunities are on the horizon for you. I'm seeing possibilities in areas like career, creative projects, maybe even relocation or travel. The Three of Wands is international energy, expansion energy, taking things to the next level energy. Whatever you've been building or hoping for or working toward, it's about to get bigger. What's really significant about this card appearing now is that it's telling me the manipulation and interference you experienced was actually trying to keep you small and contained. Someone didn't want you to expand. Someone didn't want you to see your potential. Someone benefited from you staying in a limited situation where you weren't fully stepping into your power. But you left that situation, Taurus. You walked away even though it was hard. And now the Three of Wands is showing up to say that decision is about to pay off in ways you can't even imagine yet. The universe is rewarding your courage to leave what wasn't serving you by opening up new horizons that wouldn't have been available if you'd stayed. I'm also seeing with this card that you're gaining perspective. The figure in the Three of Wands is standing at a high vantage point, looking out over a vast expanse they can see far and wide. This is you right now, Taurus. You're starting to see the bigger picture. You're understanding how different pieces of your situation fit together. You're recognizing patterns you couldn't see when you were in the thick of things. The Three of Wands is also about partnerships and collaborations, but healthy ones based on mutual respect and shared vision. I'm seeing that you're going to be connecting with people who actually support your growth, who celebrate your success, who want to see you thrive. The contrast between these new connections and what you experienced before is going to be really stark and really healing. This card is telling me to tell you to stay patient, though. The Three of Wands is about waiting for ships to come in, and they're definitely coming. But they're not here yet. You can see them on the horizon. You can sense that good things are approaching. But there's still this period of standing in faith and trust while the universe orchestrates the details. Wheel of Fortune showed up, and when I saw this card, I literally got chills because the Wheel of Fortune is about major turning points and karmic cycles completing. This is one of the most powerful cards in the tarot for indicating that fate is about to shift in a big way. What's so significant about the Wheel of Fortune in your reading is that it's confirming everything is about to change. The cycle you've been in, the pattern of confusion and pain and manipulation, it's ending. The wheel is turning, Taurus. And when the Wheel of Fortune turns, it doesn't do so slowly or gently. This is a dramatic shift. The Wheel of Fortune is also deeply karmic, and this is where things get really interesting in terms of what you told me about someone causing separation through dark interference. The Wheel of Fortune is telling me that karma is catching up with whoever was manipulating your situation. What goes around comes around, and this card is the mechanism through which that happens. I'm seeing that this person thought they were in control. They thought they were successfully manipulating circumstances to their advantage. They thought they were getting away with their interference. But the Wheel of Fortune doesn't care what anyone thinks they're doing. The wheel turns according to cosmic law, not human manipulation. This card is showing me that a reversal of fortune is coming. The person who was seemingly winning through their deceptive tactics is about to experience consequences. The situation that appeared to be going in their favor is about to turn. What was hidden is about to be exposed. What seemed secure is about to crumble. And for you, Taurus, the Wheel of Fortune is bringing a turn in a positive direction. Where you've been experiencing loss and confusion and pain, you're about to experience gain and clarity and healing. Where doors were closed, they're about to open. Where you felt stuck, movement is coming. The Wheel of Fortune is also about destiny, and this card is telling me that you're actually on your correct path now, even though it might not feel like it yet. The interference you experienced was someone trying to knock you off your destined path, but the universe course corrected. The wheel turned. And now you're actually more aligned with your true purpose than you were before all this happened. There's also a message here about cycles and understanding that everything has its season. There was a season of difficulty, of testing, of darkness, but that season is ending. The Wheel of Fortune is bringing you into a new season, characterized by different energy entirely. It's like moving from winter into spring. The cold, hard ground is about to give way to new growth. What I really want you to understand about the Wheel of Fortune is that this change is bigger than just your personal situation. This is a cosmic shift. This is fate reasserting itself. This is the universe saying enough, time to correct the imbalance, time to restore what should be. Knight of Pentacles appeared, and at first I was surprised by this card in such a dynamic reading, but then I understood why he showed up. The Knight of Pentacles is steady, reliable, methodical, practical. He's not flashy or fast, but he gets where he's going through persistent effort, and he's absolutely dependable. In the context of your reading, the Knight of Pentacles is showing me that the help you have is solid and real and manifesting in practical ways. This isn't just spiritual support, although that's definitely present. This is actual tangible assistance. Someone or something is helping you in concrete ways to avoid the traps that were set for you. This could be showing up as a person in your life who is being unexpectedly helpful, giving you practical advice or assistance or resources. Or it could be showing up as circumstances just working out in your favor in ways that seem small but are actually really significant. The Knight of Pentacles works through the material realm, through practical details, through the everyday mechanics of life. What's interesting about this Knight is that he represents patient, persistent effort toward a goal. And in your reading, I'm seeing that the truth coming to light isn't going to be one dramatic revelation. It's going to be piece by piece, detail by detail, the Knight of Pentacles methodically uncovering what was hidden. This card is telling me that evidence is being gathered, facts are being accumulated. A case is being built, so to speak, not necessarily in a legal sense, but in the sense that the truth is being documented and verified in undeniable ways. The Knight of Pentacles doesn't rush, and he doesn't skip steps. He makes sure everything is solid before he presents it. I'm also seeing with this card that you need to stay grounded during this time. The Knight of Pentacles is earth energy, and earth is about staying connected to reality, to your body, to practical concerns. While all these revelations are unfolding and big spiritual shifts are happening, you still need to take care of the basics. Eat well, sleep, handle your responsibilities, keep your life stable. The Knight of Pentacles is also about building something lasting. After everything you've been through, you're not just going to bounce back and return to how things were before. You're building a new foundation, a new life, new patterns and structures that are healthier and more aligned with who you really are. And that building process takes time and consistent effort. This Knight is incredibly loyal, and I'm seeing that loyalty as a major theme for you moving forward. You're learning who is actually loyal to you versus who was just pretending. You're developing your own loyalty to yourself, making sure you honor your needs and boundaries. And you're attracting people whose loyalty is genuine and dependable, like the Knight of Pentacles himself. The Tower showed up, and I know this card scares a lot of people, but in your reading, the Tower is actually a really important and necessary energy. The Tower is about structures that were built on false foundations suddenly collapsing. It's about illusions shattering. It's about truth being revealed in dramatic, undeniable ways. What the Tower is telling me is that whatever was built through manipulation and interference, it's not going to stand. You can't build anything lasting on lies and deception. You can't create sustainable situations through dark magic or manipulation. Eventually, the truth comes out, and when it does, everything built on falsehood comes crashing down. For the person who was interfering in your life, the Tower is their karma. Whatever they constructed through their manipulation, whether that's relationships or reputation or circumstances they falsely created, it's going to collapse. And it's going to collapse in a way that's visible and undeniable. People are going to see what they really are. Now, the Tower can also represent necessary destruction in your own life, but I'm seeing that for you, what's being destroyed are false beliefs you had about yourself or the situation. Maybe you believed you weren't good enough. Maybe you believed you were the problem. Maybe you believed you should have been able to make it work. Those false beliefs are being shattered by the Tower. And that's a good thing, even though it might be uncomfortable. The Tower is also the card of sudden revelation. This ties directly into what I said at the beginning about you receiving news soon. The Tower is often that bolt of lightning that illuminates everything in a flash. Suddenly you see clearly what was hidden. Suddenly you understand what was really happening. Suddenly the confusion makes sense because the truth has been revealed. What's interesting about the Tower is that while the moment of collapse is dramatic, what comes after is actually a huge relief. It's like living in a building that's structurally unsound. Every day you're walking on floors that might give way, but you don't know it. When the building collapses, yes, it's dramatic and scary. But afterward, you're out of danger. You're no longer living in a structure that could harm you at any moment. The Tower is clearing away what needs to go so that something true and solid can be built. You can't build a new life on top of lies and illusions. The ground has to be cleared first. That's what's happening. The false structures are coming down so that you have a clear foundation to build something real. I'm also seeing with the Tower that secrets are being exposed. Things that were hidden in shadow are being brought into light. Communications that happened behind your back are going to be revealed. Actions that were taken secretly are going to become known. The Tower doesn't let anything stay hidden. Everything comes out. For you personally, the Tower is a liberation. Yes, It might be shocking to learn the full truth of what was done to you and your situation. Yes, it might be painful to understand the extent of the manipulation, but knowing is better than not knowing. Truth is better than living in confusion. The Tower gives you that truth, even though it delivers it dramatically. Ten of Swords came through, and I'm going to be honest, this is one of the most intense cards in the deck visually, but its message in your reading is actually about endings and the possibility of new beginnings. The Ten of Swords is the card of betrayal, of being stabbed in the back, of feeling like you've been completely defeated. What this card is confirming for you is that yes, there was betrayal. Yes, someone or maybe multiple people acted against you in ways that were deeply hurtful. Yes, you experienced a kind of ending that felt like death, even though it wasn't literal death. The Ten of Swords validates that pain and that experience of betrayal. But here's what's really important about the Ten of Swords. It's the last card of the Swords suit. It represents the absolute worst that the energy of swords, which is mental anguish and painful truth and cutting words, can manifest. And because it's the end of that cycle, it means there's nowhere to go but up from here. The Ten of Swords is rock bottom. It's the darkest night. It's the moment when you think you can't take anymore. But it's also the moment right before dawn. In the traditional imagery of this card, you can actually see the sun starting to rise on the horizon. The darkness is almost over. What I'm seeing with this card in your reading is that the worst of what you were going to experience through this manipulation has already happened. You've already been through the deepest pain. You've already felt the sharpest betrayal. The Ten of Swords is telling me that you've survived the worst of it, and now healing can begin. This card is also about the death of illusions and false beliefs. Every sword in your back represents a lie you believed or a false perception you held. And now, those illusions are dead. You can't believe them anymore because you've seen the truth. That's painful in the moment, but it's ultimately freeing because you can't be deceived by the same lies again. The Ten of Swords is showing me that there's information that's going to come to light that might feel like that final sword, that last painful truth, but even that truth is part of your healing because it's the completion of understanding what happened. Once you know everything, once all the betrayal has been revealed, then that chapter is truly over and you can move forward without wondering what else you don't know. I'm also seeing with this card that you need to allow yourself to grieve. The Ten of Swords represents a real loss, even if what you lost wasn't actually good for you. You lost your innocence about certain people. You lost the future you thought you were building. You lost time and energy and emotional investment. That's worth mourning. You don't have to just brush it off and be strong all the time. But here's the hopeful part of the Ten of Swords. In many readings, after this card comes the Ace of Swords or other new beginnings. The Ten of Swords clears the deck completely so that something entirely new can emerge. You're being given a clean slate, Taurus. Everything false has been cut away. What's left is truth and the opportunity to build from that truth. So let me bring all of this together for you because there's such a clear story in these cards. You experienced a separation that was confusing and painful, shown in the Eight of Cups. What you didn't fully understand at the time was that someone was actively manipulating the situation, shown in the Magician. They used their skills to create discord and interference, but throughout this whole ordeal, you were being protected by strength. Your essential self remained intact. Your core truth wasn't corrupted by the manipulation. You didn't fall into the traps that were set for you because divine guidance was keeping you safe. Temperance showed up to tell you that there's been active divine intervention in your situation. The universe has been orchestrating your protection and the eventual revelation of truth. Everything is unfolding in perfect timing, even though it might not feel like it in the difficult moments. You're stepping into your Queen of Wands energy, reclaiming your power and confidence. The confusion and self-doubt are falling away as you recognize your true worth. And the Three of Wands is showing you that new horizons are opening up for you as a result of leaving what wasn't serving you. The Wheel of Fortune confirms that a major turning point is here. Karmic cycles are completing. What goes around is coming around. The person who manipulated your situation is about to experience consequences, while you're about to experience a reversal of fortune in a positive direction. The Knight of Pentacles is showing that you have practical, reliable help and support. The truth is being revealed methodically and thoroughly. You're building a new foundation that's solid and real, not based on illusions. The Tower is the dramatic revelation that's coming. Structures built on lies are collapsing. Secrets are being exposed. False beliefs are being shattered. This might be intense, but it's necessary for you to move forward in truth. And the Ten of Swords confirms that yes, there was real betrayal and pain, but you've survived the worst of it. This is the end of that dark cycle. Dawn is breaking. You can't be fooled by the same lies again because the illusions are dead. The news that's coming to you soon, Taurus, it's going to validate everything your intuition was telling you. It's going to confirm that you weren't crazy or paranoid or overly sensitive. There really was interference. There really was manipulation. Someone really was working against your happiness and success. But here's what I really want you to take away from this reading. You're okay. More than okay. You're protected. You're moving into your power. You're about to experience positive shifts that are bigger than you can imagine right now. The person or people who tried to harm you through their interference, they're about to face their karma while you rise. You have divine support. You have spiritual protection. You have loyal people in your corner. And most importantly, you have yourself, stronger and wiser and more discerning than before. The traps didn't work. The manipulation ultimately failed. You walked away before you could be fully destroyed by that toxic situation. Stay grounded. Stay in your power. Trust that the truth is coming and that it's going to set you free. Don't go looking for revenge or proof because the universe is handling that. Your job is to keep building your new life, keep healing, keep moving toward those horizons the Three of Wands showed you. The separation you experienced, as painful as it was, it saved you from something worse. It removed you from an environment where dark energy was being directed at you. It got you out before the situation could truly damage your soul. And now you're free to build something real and true and aligned with who you actually are. You're going to look back on this time and recognize it as a major turning point. You're going to see how the universe was working behind the scenes to protect you and guide you. You're going to understand that what felt like loss was actually liberation. So when that news comes, when those revelations happen, receive them with grace. Let the truth wash over you and through you. Let it validate your experience and your intuition, and then let it go. Don't hold on to the anger or the pain. The best revenge is living well, and you're about to do exactly that. This is your time, Taurus. Your time to shine, to expand, to step into your Queen of Wands power, to watch your ships come in with the Three of Wands. The manipulation failed. The interference is being exposed. Divine justice is unfolding. And you're standing strong, protected, supported, and ready for the beautiful new chapter that's beginning. Trust yourself. Trust the process. Trust that you have help and protection. And trust that everything is working out exactly as it should, even when it's uncomfortable or confusing in the moment. You've got this. The universe has you. And the truth is about to set you completely free.